I lived in Brooklyn, a place that throbbed with life. Music spilled from open windows, a mix of salsa and hip-hop. The air smelled of spices and street food, a delicious blend that always made my stomach rumble. I loved my neighborhood, loved the energy that buzzed around me. But most of all, I loved to skateboard. My skateboard was an extension of myself, a trusty companion on wheels. The feel of the wind in my hair, the ground rushing beneath me, it filled me with a sense of pure joy. Every free moment I had was spent at the skate park, practicing ollies and kickflips, dreaming of one day mastering the perfect grind. The skate park was my haven, a concrete jungle where I felt truly free. It was a place where I could be myself, where the rhythm of my board against the pavement drowned out all the noise of the world.
The older skaters at the park were a different breed. They moved with a confidence that Javier envied, their boards like extensions of their own bodies. They could land tricks that seemed to defy gravity, their movements fluid and effortless.
I watched them with a mixture of awe and intimidation. I wanted their approval, wanted to be accepted into their world of scraped knees and fearless jumps, but they mostly ignored me, their eyes passing over me as if I were invisible. I was too young, too inexperienced, my skills too unpolished for their seasoned eyes.
Their indifference stung, but it also fueled a fire in his belly. Javier was determined to prove himself, to show them that he deserved to share their space, to breathe the same air of asphalt and sweat. He practiced even harder, his board becoming his confidant, his silent witness as he poured his heart and soul into every jump and turn. School felt like a different world, a world of textbooks and tests, a world that couldn't understand the pull of the concrete wave. Javier's mind would wander during lessons, his fingers tapping out rhythms on his desk, his thoughts drifting to the feel of his board beneath his feet. His grades began to slip, a fact that didn't go unnoticed by his mother.
She worried about him, worried that he was losing himself in his passion. She wanted him to succeed, to have opportunities that she never had. Education is the key, she would tell him, her voice firm but filled with love.
I heard her words, felt the weight of her expectations. I knew she was right, knew that education was important. But how could I explain the fire that burned inside me when I was on my board, the way it made me feel truly alive? I had to find a way to balance my passions, to honor both my dreams and my responsibilities.
One afternoon, while taking a shortcut through an alleyway, Javier stumbled upon something extraordinary. A woman, her face hidden behind a cloud of dark curls, was spray painting a mural on a brick wall. Colors exploded on the wall, vibrant hues of orange, blue and green forming a breathtaking tapestry of life and energy. Javier, as S1, Javier stood mesmerized, watching as her hands moved with a practiced grace, her spray can an instrument of magic. He had never seen anything like it before, had never imagined that such beauty could be created with a few cans of paint. The woman, sensing his presence, turned around. Her eyes, dark and intense, met his with a warm smile. Maria, as S5. "Hey there," she said, her voice husky and kind. "I'm Maria. You like what you see?" Javier, as S1. Javier, still speechless, could only nod, his eyes wide with admiration. And in that moment, a connection was made, a bond formed between two souls, drawn together by the power of art and the search for identity. Maria became Javier's mentor, his guide through the world of art and self-expression. She taught him about color and composition, about the power of art to tell stories and challenge perceptions. She showed him how to see the beauty in everyday life, in the cracks on the sidewalk and the faces of strangers. She also listened to him, really listened, as he poured out his anxieties about fitting in, about balancing his love for skateboarding with his responsibilities. Maria understood his struggles, understood the pressure he felt to conform, to fit into neat boxes that didn't quite fit his shape. Maria, as S5. "Your story is unique, Javier," she told him one day, her voice filled with conviction. "Don't be afraid to embrace all the parts of yourself, your heritage, your passions. They are what make you special, what make you you." Her words resonated deep within him, planting a seed of confidence that began to blossom. One evening, After a particularly exhilarating session at the skate park, Javier found himself drawn to the roof of his building. He sat on the edge, the city lights twinkling around him like a million fireflies. He thought about Maria's words, about the importance of embracing his identity. He was a Brooklyn boy, born and raised amidst the rhythm and soul of the city. He was black and Latino, a beautiful blend of cultures and histories. And he was a skateboarder, his board a paintbrush on the concrete canvas of the city. He didn't have to choose, didn't have to conform. He could be all of these things and more. Javier, as S1, a slow smile spread across his face as a sense of peace washed over him. He was enough, just as he was. And in that moment of self-acceptance, he knew that he could achieve anything he set his mind to. The next day, Javier walked into the skate park with a newfound sense of purpose. He no longer craved the approval of the older skaters. He was there for himself, to express himself through the language of his board. He dropped in, his movements fluid and confident. He landed tricks he didn't even know he was capable of, his board an extension of his newfound self-belief. The other skaters stopped and watched, their indifference replaced by a grudging respect. They had witnessed something special, a raw talent unleashed, a spirit set free. Skater #1 as S4. Javier skated through the streets of Brooklyn, the rhythm of his board, a heartbeat against the pavement. He was home, surrounded by the sights and sounds that had shaped him. He was Brooklyn's own, a child of the concrete jungle, his spirit soaring high above the rooftops.